Syya, we can't hear you. Hey, it's Erin, Gregor. Oh, there you go. You're on. Okay. I didn't know if it was your mic or what.
Oh, it would just
All
be
right.
me.
Was
Okay.
she psyching us out there?
I don't know what's happening anymore.
You know what? I just love being live. So good morning, everyone. Welcome back. It's the Afterglow Live Recap Podcast. My name is Syya.
And I'm Erin, Gregor.
And I'm Paige White.
And Paige is back in the house. Erin, I probably should give the controls to you. I can never get this down right, but it's fun at the same time. Okay. So this week, you guys, on GLO, Global Leaders Organization, we had the Dr. Cheryl Action Jackson, of the founder of Minnie's Food Pantry, join us. And guys, I was so inspired. I think I did like 4 posts on LinkedIn right after. I think I spammed, probably got caught up in the algorithm.
I had my credit card out. I was like, donating. Okay, $1 will feed 300, put $100 in, 300 fed. I'm just like, this is awesome.
I was ready to go like move into Minnie's Pantry and just like just volunteer for her all the rest of my life. Like she was awesome.
Talk about motivation.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
How can you say no to her? Can you imagine her calling you on the phone and saying, I need some money?
I'd be like,
saying no to her.
I'll give you my
be able to do it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well, okay. So Paige White, just real quick, Loudmouth, who are you and all that good stuff?
Well, I'm Paige White, founder of Loudmouth. Also, She's Savvy and Paige White, multiple marketing companies. We work with influencers who promote products and services for emerging corporate brands. And that's what we do. We have loud mouths and we get out there and we post as much content on the web and social media as possible to influence people to buy their products and services. And that's the gist of it.
So aptly named Loudmouth. I'm just saying, but I love it nonetheless. No judgments obviously on my side. So, okay. So let's jump into Cheryl, because we could talk about Cheryl all day long, but you guys, how inspiring is it that she started off with 2 cans of corn in her pantry and she cried and realized that she had to do something with her life? I mean, gosh, you guys, like, where do you think she found it in her to just say, I gotta change my life right now?
I think she already had it in her.
Yeah.
It just I don't think anybody just like magically one day wakes up and has this passion and motivation. I think it was always there. She just wasn't utilizing it. I mean, I just can't imagine I can't imagine her not being her at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's remarkable.
And you know what I think is so interesting about her, and I've had to change my viewpoint on this too, is what hunger looks like. And I love, from her perspective, we all have this vision that it's the homeless person, that it's the person who essentially has nothing from the outside. But, and this is, not just from yesterday, but also like how she reaches out and helps anybody. Sometimes it's the person driving up in the Lincoln Navigator, right? That they have all these things, but you lose your job and it's not like you can go out and get out of the lease, right? Like maybe they have overextended, maybe whatever it is that's happened, it doesn't necessarily look like we think it's going to look like. And we have to let go of that judgment and help anybody who needs it. And that's what I love about her, is she's reached out, and doesn't matter if you were a CEO last month and you've lost everything or you've been homeless. She wants to help everybody. And that's what I absolutely love, how she's helping people of all kinds.
Yeah, Erin, I actually agree with you. I think I'm probably one of those people who would have been like, they're in a BMW. What?
Right.
Why in the world are they in this line? I mean, I was passing judgment on people, not even realizing what the full story was. They could be super successful, all of a sudden lost their job. They've got kids to feed, and there's no money coming in. So I'm with you. That really tweaked something in my mind yesterday when she was talking about that friend of hers who was extremely successful and had to like humble herself and ask for help.
Yeah.
We're all very fortunate that we're not in that situation, and we very well could be.
Yeah, 100%. And I just love that she's also changing it to education. It's not just about feeding, but I'm going to teach these kids how to save for rainy days and how to think of money management. So when those times do come, you have the savings, you've got the capabilities, you aren't overextended. You can actually continue to write her checks. I love when she talked about training those kids to be able to write her checks someday. That was the best.
I love that. That is like, you know what? I know she said it tongue in cheek, but the reality is though, I mean, you have to start young. I do believe firmly to get good eating habits, to get good life well-being habits, to establish discipline, I think does take an anchoring in the beginning of life, if you will. And I love that she did expand that, because what did she say? It was, it's almost like that saying, you could teach a person, or you can feed them
a fish and feed them for a day, or teach them to fish and feed them for a lifetime.
Yeah. And that's what she's doing. And gosh, you guys, the numbers about, Minnie's Pantry, what did she say? Annually, they usually do about 1.5 million meals. And this year,
like 4 or something.
She said it's already at 4.5, close to 5 million. And it's not even the end of the year yet.
Yep.
Yeah, we're definitely in a little bubble here in, the North Texas area. But but she's feeding people in North Texas too. Like, I feel like, it's very interesting. It feels like in so many ways, I was having this conversation with a client yesterday. It feels like so many ways we're okay, but there's a lot of things behind the scenes happening that I think we're going to be very aware of next year that we're just kind of not aware of right now.
Right. 100% agree. I mean, who'd have thought this pandemic would even come around? And again, because we are fortunate, we just haven't thought about it. But the children that couldn't go to school, that was actually their meal of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never thought of this. And what a frightening, sad thought for these poor kids. Like, they don't know.
Right. Yeah.
They don't know. I mean, I don't want to cry. Okay, so let's take this step back, because I think the giving and the mission, we'll definitely talk more at length of it. But the very beginning of her talk, what I really liked about her was her confidence, and she exuded it clearly. But I love the way she said, you guys, all entrepreneurs, you own the space that you're in. And then she said right after, and I was cracking up, it's a pleasure for you to meet me. And I was like, bam. How many times have we done networking meetings when we could meet each other, and we had an awkward introduction where maybe because of your own self-doubt, you might have been portraying yourself a little bit less confidently?
Oh, 100%. I'm guilty of that. You know what I found to that point? What I loved about her whole talk yesterday was we get caught up in it's so hard, it's so hard, it's so hard. And sometimes it feels like you're alone, and sometimes it feels like it's just so hard. You don't want to keep going. What was so interesting about her talk, and to that point, it is confidence. It is, okay, yes, this is hard. I get it. But all entrepreneurship is, if you could define it in one simple statement, it's doing the things that no one else is willing to do, right? And that's what she was. Like, I'm going to walk into those rooms and I'm going to be confident. I'm going to say it's, I'm going to ask for the sale, and we'll talk about, I know there's that whole ask thing, and I know I want to talk about that later because I saw you posting about it too, but I'm going to ask, and I am going to feel more confident than ever that what I'm offering is an opportunity of a lifetime to them that will change their life. And I'm going to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep asking. And I just wonder if we look at, I was just studying this thing last night, talk about 90% of startups failing. And I thought about her talk, and I thought about that. I'm like, you know what? I wonder if it was just a matter of keep going, what that number 90% would change to. If you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about, it's just hard, but it's being willing to do the hard time in and time out and keep going. And that's what I got from her from it. It's walking to those rooms, being confident, changing that thing. And it was really, I know I kind of went off the rails there, but it's very inspiring.
No, actually, I love that because, she said you've got a 50-50 chance, right?
Yeah.
And, something, I would get scared to do something when I was younger, and my mom would always say, all they can do is say no. How's that really going to affect you? That word no means nothing. You just go on to the next person. And you've got a 50-50 chance, and they maybe say yes. So that really impacted me when she said that. It kind of took me back to my roots back when I was younger and was so fearful of approaching people. I was a little bit of an introvert. And so that really resonated with me when she was talking about that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, okay. So let's talk about the cause marketing that I know, Paige, I know, Erin, we're going to go I got so excited because I think, Erin, we need to reswizzle how our positioning is based on what just Cheryl said, right? So let's talk about it. What is cause marketing?
It's marketing for a cause, getting your, like her perfect example of this is marketing and then getting your name put on the back of a t-shirt for thousands of people who are volunteering, and those people who go home, and those people who, and now your name, your brand is associated with something amazing, and it's walking all over maybe a city or in a home where, you need to get involved in. So it's just being able to partner and have your name associated with something amazing. Paige, I don't know if you have a
No, I mean, I was just thinking about this. There was a time I worked for another company. It was a startup. It was small, and they didn't have a whole lot of money. And they're like, "Oh, we really want to have somebody that we can put on our site that we can donate to, give a portion of our proceeds to." But everybody wants thousands and thousands of dollars to do that. But really, there's a lot of very small. If you do some research, there's a lot of small nonprofits out there that would love to have your $100 or $200 a month or $1,000 a month. To put you front and center on their website, on their t-shirts, on their swag, whatever it may be. So the excuse that, I'm too small to participate in cause marketing really is just not true. Everybody at some level, every company has the ability to participate in cause marketing at some level.
Yeah.
I just think that saying, people do business with people they know and like. When you humanize the interaction and engagement between brands, between businesses, between clients, that just makes it more impactful, right? And if you know that what you're doing is going to benefit another, even in the act of doing business, it almost makes it feel better to do business.
Well, and I'll say this too, a big lesson I learned in one of my first businesses, and I don't mean to, I hate to say this because I feel like it makes it skeevy, but it wasn't skeevy at all. But you align with the right nonprofit for your business, you're essentially doing good and getting that marketing out there. It's not, you're being able to volunteer, and it's directly not just a name on a t-shirt, but referrals, whatever, to your point, that know, like, and trust factors. This company is amazing, you need to work with them. And it's like this win-win situation. You're getting to volunteer, you're getting to help in a cause that absolutely matters to you. And oh, by the way, they're bringing business back to you. But you got to find that perfect alignment in order for that to work.
It's another level of network marketing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
Well, and I'll give props. Debbie Sardone is her name. She had a cleaning service. And then this is a perfect example of this. She started a secondary nonprofit that cleans for women. I think it's just breast cancer, but we'll just say women with cancer who need their houses cleaned. So it's like this whole extra service that she's provided. And it's this cause marketing. She's, on that face of doing good, but obviously it's going to help her business too. And it's a great partnership.
Can I ask one challenging question then? Because I think cause marketing absolutely makes sense, especially with, let's be honest, I know Erin makes fun of me because I keep talking about generations, but the millennials and Gen Zs, you have to have a cause to do business, it feels like. Whereas I think previous generations weren't as tied to that purpose or purpose-driven life, if you will. As much. Can there be a situation where the cause you support is considered maybe questionable, I guess, for lack of a better term, controversial?
Can you give an example?
Align it with a controversial viewpoint.
Should we say like Black Lives Matter? Yeah.
Politics,
Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I think you have to be prepared for that. Like if you're going to align with a conservative, very conservative side or a liberal side, like, yeah, BLM, let's say that's going to be associated with a certain political side, whether you want to believe that or not. I think you have to be prepared for that. And I think you have to be, you're going to get backlash, whether, and are you prepared for that backlash? And does that backlash matter to you? Are you okay knowing you are going to completely turn off potentially 50% of a population? And does that matter to you?
I think it's just got to be something you truly believe in. If BLM is your thing and you truly believe in it, there's no apologies. This is who I support. This is where my money's going, and I'm not going to apologize for it. Right? I mean, that's just what you have to feel in your bones when you're doing something like that.
Yeah. And I can give an example. There's a woman who runs a very successful business in the online space. And her whole thing is, listen, if you aren't sad, I guess this was her state, something along these lines. If you aren't sad every day that Obama is out of office, then we probably won't align. And she'll flat out say that, like that. If that doesn't make you sad every day, then I'm probably not for you. And she makes no apology for that. And there's going to be people that read that and roll their eyes and I don't want anything to do with her. But then there's going to be people who, 100% like, that's my girl, and buy her product.
I think that's where big brands have to be very careful, right? Because there is that need to be trendy, that maybe don't understand that full message, right? So there was a backlash on some major corporations that supported BLM or other causes, but didn't fully embrace the sensitivities. And it backfired on, because they're like, dude, don't just jump on just because it seems a cool thing to do. So authenticity to that.
Yeah, it's like put your mouth where your money is. It's the other way. Put your money where your mouth is, right?
Right. No, and yeah, they got called out a lot because all of a sudden it was like when everything, was going down in May and June, all of a sudden you're getting emails from people like, you're like, what? Why are you? It was so insincere. And so like, I have to say something, otherwise we're going to make, and it's just like, I think in this case, it's probably better not to say anything because this is very strange coming from you right now.
Well, perfect. I won't name names, but it was cracking me up where, we're all about diversity. Not necessarily saying like, BLM. I know we're picking on BLM just because it's more topical, but
yeah.
But we support diversity, and then you look at their board, and it's a very, very specific demographic.
Yeah, on the social media channels, that was big. Like they would say something, and all of a sudden, people would start posting pictures of the board. All old white men, every single one of them. Where's the diversity in that?
Yeah,
I know we're kind of off topic, but actually, I think that's something that's relevant and good to talk about personally.
Well, I think because if you're going to do cause, to my first word, skeevy, if you're going to be cause just because you have to check the box of cause marketing and you don't stand for what you're aligning to, I feel like it could completely backfire on you, for one thing, and second, it's like, why? Okay, great. You checked a box. Does that really, to Sya's question about generational, are they going to see right through you? They're saying you need to be associated with something, but if you're associating with something for the sake of associating with it, not because you really believe in it, don't waste your time or your money.
Yeah. And the youth are very savvy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they can see through the BS these days. And just a little bit of research, which they're online all the time, they can find out the truth very easily.
Yeah. Find the picture of your boards very
quickly.
Quickly.
Yep.
Yeah, no. Okay, so let's go back to positivity here then. Man alive, her Oprah story, you guys. Okay, so who wants to recap the Oprah story? Because I will go on forever.
Well, just quickly, she didn't stop asking for 8 freaking years, and then got Oprah to opened a quick call with her, asked her she said, I need $250,000 because my bit. Okay. And Oprah goes, okay. And then she's like, okay, then I need you to speak too. And I just love that it was again, doing the things that 99% of the people aren't going to be willing to ask for. How many people would have been brave enough to ask Oprah for $250,000, let alone ask her for a speaking engagement too? And for 8 years. Never stop.
But the kicker on that is after Oprah had already done that, she's on the phone and she's like, I can't remember exactly what she said, something about like, she said, well, what else can I do for you? And she goes, you can get me on with, what's Oprah's friend's name? Gayle King?
Gayle,
yeah. Gayle King can interview you or something like that. I just love it. She's a step ahead. She's always thinking ahead.
Yeah. And it's just that dig in, like, just to your point, Paige, just getting okay with hearing the word no, but you're never going to hear the word no or yes if you never ask.
Yeah.
Right. What's that saying? You missed 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yep.
Right. And so I'm trying to like I'm reading a lot of great comments going on. So Joseph is like on fire today. I know this topic is very meaningful to him.
Yes,
so shout out to Joseph. By the way, if anyone that's looking for access to capital, Joseph is our go-to guy over at GLO. So for sure, if you're looking at raising capital, what does it mean for your business? He can help you with that. On that note, though, he did make a point, you guys, taking a step back on connecting the purpose of the business with the cause, right? He said that's the critical part, and that's part of the authenticity as well, right? That it's not just like I make boots and I care about dolphins. I don't know. Like it's got to, if you're going to make it care about dolphins, boots maybe go into the trash, into the ocean, and you tie it.
Right.
But it's got to make sense.
Right.
So yeah. I just want to give you a shout out on that, Joseph, because I know he's feverishly typing here over on the right, and we're like behind on all the responses. So she asked for 6 minutes of time. I love this, you guys, because when you were talking to people, we're talking about mentorship, and we've spoken about this frequently, is being a good mentor and mentee. How often do we ask for time of other individuals? Not money, but time. I love that.
Yeah. And again, it just comes down to respect. I get asked for my time all the time. And it's so important to me that it's respected. And also I respect anybody who's going to take the time and sit down with me. And I think that is so much more precious to somebody than money. I really believe it. And I always tie it back to, if I'm going to take away time from my kids for you, what is this going to equate to? And that's how I go back to everything. And I think we really, it's my pet peeve. Like when people are late, it's just like, because it basically is saying to someone, I don't respect your time. It's just flat out saying, I don't respect you as a person or your time, because my time being late is more important. So I think we really have to look at that perspective of how, like, just I mean, if Oprah gives you 6 minutes, you will do to go to the ends of the earth to get and respect her time for that.
Yeah.
So, okay, guys, Cheryl just was a nugget of quotes. Like, I think I'm going to do like a whole series of her quotes. Like, so I liked this one, but I'd love to hear from your insights, you guys. Success without a successor is a failure. And she said that to Oprah to close the deal, if you will, to get 6 minutes of her time. What does that mean to you? Success without a successor is a failure.
Well, it brings me back to that when she was talking about, training the kids. The kids will be her successor.
Right.
Right? Without somebody to succeed her in what she's doing, ultimately it's a failure. I mean, that's what my takeaway from it. It just reminds me kind of what she was talking about with the kids.
Yeah, it's like legacy. Like if you have success but no legacy behind it, was the success really worth it?
Which I think it was her subtle way of saying, you can be successful. You can drive your,
BMW
or whatever, and have nothing behind it, right? But if there's no forward movement, paying it forward, paying it back kind of thing, is that really a legacy that you're right? Is that really truly successful if you can't pass on your successes to others? And I think that's why she was suddenly saying, give $1 a day. I really liked her leave an empty plate at the table analogy.
Yeah, I did too.
So much so that I got a new concept in my head of a video I think I'd like to do. But if we can be giving, do you think we'd rather be giving of our time or money?
I think both, to be honest. I think that's a hard thing to say. I think there is that financial perspective just to be able to give. But I also think you need to find, and I want to be in a position in my life where I can freely give my time, because money's easy. I can just make some money and throw money at it. Right. But like, I want to be able to freely like connect. Like for me, I just started volunteering at a shelter. And for me to go and connect and be able to help where I can is really important. I know I could throw some money, but I'm not going to really get the I don't want to say the benefit to me because that sounds really crappy, but I'm not going to get the feels unless I'm personally interacting. And I think it's really important that we personally connect with those things we're just giving money to.
I agree. I think there's something to be said about that human interaction. Yes, it's great. The money's great because we do need it to propel, right? To keep the organization going. So not diminishing it, but if we have the ability to give time, it is so invaluable, especially like my sister's children. Like she's taken them to shelters during Thanksgiving, for example, and had them volunteer so they can see how grateful life is.
What did Cheryl say? She had a how many month waiting list, and did she say 6,000 volunteers?
Something,
on a waiting list?
Like 6 months or something.
Remarkable.
That and on the board, people want to get on her board. Yes. Remember that one last part that she said, hey, it went from being me begging them to be advisors to now she charges them and says, okay, here's $5,000 up front. And that makes her understand you mean is like, you're committed to the cause, if you will. Right. We could talk about this all day. I liked, Chris, sorry, I missed your note here, but balanced with some grace. Grace and compassion when it comes, it will come back around to you, 4X. And Joseph was talking as a CEO, you are cultivating and building people who could be the successor for your business as well, just not just your legacy. Gosh, there's so many other folks commenting. I'm so sorry we're behind on this, but we're wrapping up on time here. So guys.
I just want to say something real quick. Syya, something that she mentioned that I've already spoken to my family about. And she said, set an empty plate at your dinner table during the holidays. And it has a lot of different connotations for me. One, giving that I've done. Two, there's no food on that plate. And it reminds me of all the people out there during the holidays and anytime during the year that aren't going to have food on the table to feed themselves or their children. So I just wanted to put that in there.
Or also positively too on that too, could be the money and time that you've given. It's an empty plate, but it's a reminder of you've given food to that plate as well. Right. No, I mean, I was a little emotional on that one. I was like, damn, that's a great analogy.
I started to get a little.
So I do want to give a shout out, and I was super excited this and so proud and to be part of a GLO Global Leaders Organization. Michelle said for those that join us as members, 50% will go to Minnie's food pantry. So
and I have some good news. That wasn't just for yesterday. We're extending that through all of December. So the end of December, if you join GLO as a paying member, we're going to give 50% of that membership to Minnie's Food Pantry.
That's awesome.
That's huge. I'm so proud of that and excited for that. So go to withglo.com. Erin, I know you've got your spiel. Please do.
So obviously we'd love for you to join any local chapter that at a premium level. For those of you in Dallas, join us here, but head over to With GLO, Global Leader Organization. So it's GLO.com. And this was just part of our every Thursday series. And if you can go out on social very quickly I'm telling you, this was an incredible hour of time. You will take a ton of stuff she talked about. There's so much stuff we didn't even talk about today.
They can actually rewatch the whole video. It's still up on Facebook. Go to Global Leaders Organization Facebook page, and it's also on our GLO YouTube channel. And it'll be up there for the next week or so. Go check it out.
And I'm going to give a plug for next week too, because I know it's Jeff Sinelli. Jeff actually was one of my speakers at the Entrepreneur Summit in 2018. And are we doing the VIP room for him, Paige? Do you know? I know we didn't do this. Jeff Sinelli.
Yes.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to say.
In studio. So it's going to be him and Michelle live in studio.
So here's what I'm going to say about Jeff. As a premium member, you can get access to the VIP studio behind the scenes and ask Jeff questions directly. Jeff was, I could cry talking about Jeff. He was like, I'm very emotional right now. I don't know why, but he is one of the most amazing human beings you're going to meet. You're going to be inspired. He's awesome. I know people that met him directly at the summit, talked to him, and I'm not saying he's going to do this for you, but they called him and had direct access to him to help. He is that kind of person. So he will answer your questions in that VIP room. You could get access to him, but you have to be a premium member to do that. So join in the next week. You're going to have 50% go to Minnie's Pantry, and you're going to get access. I can promise you, Jeff is one of the most amazing human beings you will ever meet in your life. He sat down with me and talked. I love him. I can't say enough good things about him, but I know I'm running out of time, so I'll shut up now.
No,
Thank
I
you,
love
Erin.
it. And he is our final GLO guest for the year of 2020. You guys, 2021 is going to be beyond huge. So stay tuned for announcements. Guys, until next week, I think that wraps it up for another episode of the Afterglow Recap Podcast.
Thanks
Bye,
for having me,
everyone.
guys.